Chapter 5, Lesson 4, Solving Inequalities. Okay, how to solve inequalities. We solve them just like we solve an equation. All right, so we're still trying to get the variable by itself, and we are doing those inverse operations. There is one big difference, though. The big important rule is anytime we multiply or divide both sides by a negative, we flip the inequality sign. So if it's greater than, we change it to less than. If it's less than, we change it to greater than. All right, with inequalities, we also need to graph our solution. So just like we learned to graph inequalities, when we get a solution, we graph it to show that it's not, x doesn't just equal one thing, it can equal many things. Okay, let's look at some examples. So we have 5x is less than negative 45. So just like an equation, I divide both sides by 5, and x is less than negative 9. I don't flip the sign because I didn't divide by a negative, right? I divided both sides by 5. Even though there was a negative 45, I didn't divide both sides by a negative. So then I graph my solution. So I say, okay, here's a negative 9. It's an open circle, and x is less than, so my arrow goes over here to the left. All right, let's look at the next one. 3 is less than or equal to m minus 1 1/3. So I add 1 1/3 to both sides, and I get 4 1/3 is less than or equal to m. Okay, then I'm going to graph it. Again, I might want to switch this and change it to m is greater than or equal to 4 1/3 to help me graph. So I have 4 1/3. I have a filled in dot because it can be equal to that, or it's anything that is greater than 4 1/3 because it tells me that 4 1/3 is smaller than m. Okay, in our last example, I have y divided by negative 6 is greater than or equal to 12. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 6. That cancels out. As soon as I say to multiply both sides by negative 6, I'm going to flip that inequality sign. And I have a y over here is now less than or equal to negative 72. So again, I'm going to graph it, negative 72, a closed circle filled in, and y is less than or equal to that. Okay.